Good morning, all. Okay, in today's session, we are going to discuss the concept of blow molding process and its brief classification. Okay, I think in already in the previous session, I have completed the basic principle which we are using in the blow molding process. I will just take the review of that blow molding process and I will continue with its brief classification. Then what are the particular advantages, disadvantages of this method, and its applications according to its types. Okay, according to its types, I will tell you some products manufactured by each type. So we will start with this blow molding process concept. So I will just take a slight review related to this blow molding process. Okay, now in this slide, you can clearly see these are the components which we are going to use in the blow molding machine. Basic components will be there. Now the first component is the parison, or it is also known as the preform or hot hollow preform. Okay, generally it is made from heating the thermoplastic material in the tubular form or in the cylindrical form. Okay, small tube will be there, and generally this tube is prepared with the help of one extrusion operation by using a die. Okay, here we are providing this as the molten plastic, and by doing the extrusion we are getting the parison. Okay, now in the in the blow molding process, the first step is manufacturing or making of this parison or preform. That will be your first stage, and this is your first component. Then next component will be your mold cavity. Okay, this is your mold cavity. Now this mold cavity, here we have considered it in the two halves, or you can say that it is present in the two parts. Okay, this is the first part and this is the second part, or first half and second half of the mold. Okay, and now whichever shape and size you want in for that particular product, you have to provide that in this mold cavity only. Now in this example here, we are manufacturing the plastic bottle. Okay, here we are manufacturing plastic bottle. That's why you can clearly see here we have given the shape of the plastic bottle here to that particular mold cavity. Then within this mold cavity only, some cooling liners will be there. By circulating some coolants like water, we are cooling this die cavity. Okay. Now next part component is here. Important component is this is the blow pin. Okay, this is the blow pin, and to this having this air hose, or you can say that this air pipe, we are providing the compressed air. Okay, this compressed air is required for you can say that inflating or blowing this parison. Okay, so these are the basic components of this process. Now I will explain all these points, whichever process and what is the meaning of blow molding, that I will explain with the help of the diagram only. Okay, now this is your blow molding process diagram, or you can say that this is your blow molding machine. Okay, now here I have considered one product. This is the plastic bottle. This is your end product. Now this how it is manufactured. Now initially you have to manufacture this parison or preform. Okay, it is nothing but the just a hot hollow tube made from the thermoplastic material. Made from thermoplastic material by performing one extrusion operation. Okay, this tube is parison or preform, hot hollow preform is manufactured. Then this is the your first stage. Then this parison we are placing it in the mold cavity. Okay, mold cavity, and having two parts with the cooling arrangement in it. Okay, then after placing it in the mold cavity, okay, these stages you can understand here. This is the first manufacturing of the parison, and in the next stage we are placing the parison in this mold cavity having two parts. Okay, this is the second stage. Now in the third stage, we are going to inflate this tube. Okay, this is the cylindrical tube. Now with the help of a blow pin we are going to inflate, or just you have to you can say that we are going to blow the performing one blowing operation on that tube with the help of compressed air. Okay, compressed air will enter in that tube, and that parison is pressed due to this compressed air pressure will get created, and it is pressed against the walls of that mold cavity, and that parison tube will acquire the shape of that mold cavity. Okay, then after the you have to provide some time for cooling, and after that cooling process, you have to remove in the last stage or fourth stage, you have to remove these mold cavity parts, and you will end up with your product. But this product will be having some flashes. Okay, extra material will be attached. It may be at the top surface, or it may be at the bottom surface, and that extra material is termed as the flash. Extra material will be termed as the flash, and you have to perform one finishing operation on it. That You can say that one trimming operation is required, or final finishing operation is required, and you will get the desired product. Okay, for example, here I have considered the manufacturing of the plastic bottle. Okay, this is your plastic bottle, and this will be your end product. Okay, first we will manufacture the parison, then we will keep that place in mold cavity having cooling arrangement. Okay, this will be your stage, closed cavity, and this is the parison will be there, and we are going to blow the compressed air in that tube, then it will get inflated and pressed against these walls. Okay, air will enter and it will press against the that walls of the mold cavity, and due to that, that parison will acquire the shape of that mold cavity. Then in the end stage, you have to separate it, and sometimes extra material will get attached to that final product. You have to perform some trimming or finishing operations. So this is you can say that your blow molding process. Okay, these are the steps involved in the blow molding process. If you are having any difficulty, you can ask me here only, or you can put that in the chat box. Okay, simply you can judge that means whichever plastic bottles are there for which we are for drinking water, then cold drinks, then suppose some storage tank for that waters is there, or jars. All these components are manufactured with the help of this blow molding only. Whichever hollow components are there, these hollow components are generally manufactured with the help of this blow molding process. Okay, here we are going to manufacture only hollow components. Also, some cosmetic material is there for storing that cosmetic material. You can say that are also manufactured with the help of this blow molding process only. Okay, I will go in brief related to application at the end of this session. So this is the blow molding process. Now, after this blow molding process, stages involved in the blow molding process. So these are the stages or steps, you can say that. Then the next part, we will move towards the classification of the blow molding process. Okay. Now, whichever part or chart is there on the screen, you can clearly see that this is the classification of the blow molding process. Okay. I think this much classification is also sufficient. Okay, for blow molding, three types: extrusion blow molding, injection blow molding, and stretch blow molding. And the further classification, I have added this for your information only. Uh, okay, then I will tell you the base on which basis this classification is done. First is the blow molding. The blow molding is classified in three types: extrusion blow molding, injection blow molding, and stretch blow molding. Okay, whichever any different steps or different concepts are used on that parison. Okay, on that parison we are performing some initial operations to manufacture that parison, or to give it that parison the desired shape and size. Depending on that process only, this blow molding is classified in three types: extrusion blow molding, injection blow molding, and stretch blow molding. One by one I will explain it in brief. Then And each process is again further classified in two types. Okay, in extrusion blow molding is classified in two types: continuous extrusion blow molding and intermittent extrusion blow molding. And on which basis this classification is done? Now already we have discussed that the blow molding process will consist of blow molding process will consist of the manufacturing of that Paris. Sorry for disturbance. Okay. Now, on which basis this classification is done? Now, the blow molding process, whichever steps I have explained, if you summarize it in the minimum possible stages, then there will be only two stages. That is, first stage will be manufacturing of or making of that preform or parison, and the next will be the blowing. Okay, blowing it to the desired shape and size. Now, on which basis this further classification is done? Depending on the machines used for making the parison or machine used for performing the blowing and blowing operation, depending on it only. If suppose in the, for example, I will tell you the extrusion blow molding. If suppose the making of that parison or preform from the thermoplastic material, its making and the blowing operation is performed in a single machine. Okay, if it is performed in a single machine, then it will be termed as a continuous process. Okay, continuous extrusion blow molding. And if suppose for making the parison we are using different one machine, and for performing the blowing operation we are using another machine, then that will be termed as intermittent extrusion blow molding process. Okay, in the same way, for injection blow molding, if suppose the making of parison and giving it desired shape and size by blowing or inflating it, if these two operations we are performing in a single machine, on a single machine with the help of a single machine, then it will be termed as single stage injection blow molding. And if the making of preform is done on the separate machine and its blowing or inflating operation is performed on another machine, then it will be termed as two stage injection blow molding. Okay, in the same way, the stretch blow molding machines are classified, or processes are classified depending on the use of the machines. If we are using single machine to make the preform or uh, that parison under the blowing operation, then it will be single stage or continuous. And if we are using two different machines to perform the or making of that parison, and for blowing it we are using another machine, then that will be termed as two stage process. Okay, and for each type, single stage and two stage, that particular, suppose for in extrusion blow molding, continuous extrusion blow molding and intermittent extrusion blow molding. Then for injection blow molding it will be classified as single stage injection blow molding and two stage injection blow molding. And for stretch blow molding it is classified as single stage stretch blow molding and two stage stretch blow molding. Okay, and then after this, the classification of blow molding processes. Now we will see one by one extrusion, injection, and stage blow molding. How the exact blow molding process is conducted here. Now, I will first go with the injection blow molding process. Okay. Now, in this injection blow molding process, in the first stage, our first stage is preparation of that preform, hot preform, you can say that, or parison, means small hollow tube you have to prepare, hollow tube, or you can say that hollow section is prepared, or one tubular section is prepared, or cylindrical section is prepared. That is nothing but your parison. Okay, this is the parison. Now in this injection blow molding process, the whichever parison we are using for the blowing operation, initially that is prepared by using the injection molding process. Okay, initially we are preparing that parison by using injection blow molding process. And this process is conducted with the help of a mold cavity, okay, to give uh, that available plastic material, give the shape of that parison or that hollow tube. uh, we are using one injection mold and one injection unit will be there, okay. Now injection mold will be there. This is the injection unit having certain arrangement to apply or press that material, okay. It is very much similar to the injection molding process, okay. Initially we are taking the thermoplastic material, then we are plasticizing it, means it will be converted from solid form to the semi solid form, okay, in the form of the paste. Thermoplastic material in the form of the paste, it is taken in the injection unit, and with the help of some arrangement, mechanical arrangement, we are applying the pressure on it, okay. We are applying pressure on it, or you can say that it is injected in that mold, injection mold, and it will acquire the shape of that mold cavity. And after some time we are removing it, and this parison will be formed. This is our first stage. For manufacturing of that parison we are using injection molding process. Then what will happen, that parison, now the remaining will be just we have to conduct the blow molding process. Just first stage will be different, that is manufacturing of the parison is done with the help of one injection unit and injection mold. Then after manufacturing of this parison, that parison will be placed in the blow mold, okay. This is the mold cavity, it will be termed as a blow mold, as now we are going to perform the blow molding operation, okay. Now with the help of one air pin, okay, parison is manufactured, and manufactured parison will be placed in that mold cavity. Then after placing it in the mold cavity, the inflating operation will be performed, or blowing operation, through one opening, okay. There is one opening through this, that air, compressed air will be allowed to flow in that parison, okay. And it will perform the blowing or inflation of that. It will just inflate that tube or parison, and due to that compressed air, that tube material will be pressed against the mold cavity, okay. And it will take the shape of that mold cavity, okay. Here we are going to manufacture the bottle, that's why shape of a bottle is given. Then after pressing or that blowing operation, we are removing the mold, okay. Mold parts will be removed, and if necessary some trimming and machining operations will be performed to remove that flash, okay. Extra material, if extra any kind of extra material is attached to that final product, it is removed by trimming or machining operation, and we will end up with our final product, okay. Here two types of the molds in total process. For first, in the making of that parison or preform, injection molding we have to perform, okay. Injection molding process with the help of an injection unit and injection mold. Then after that, the blow molding will be performed with the help of this blow mold, okay. So this is the injection blow molding process, okay. If you are having any query, you can put that in the chat box. Now, please enter your attendance or your roll numbers in the chat box. Okay, those who will enter roll number now only I will consider it for attendance. Okay. Having any query in this injection blow molding process, please put the questions in the chat box. Or if I'm not able to read it, then you can ask directly by unmuting yourself. Okay, if you are having any doubt, please unmute yourself and ask the questions. If you are not asking any question, then I will consider that you have understood all parts, and I will move towards the next point. Okay, then we will move towards the next blow molding process. This is the extrusion blow molding process. Okay, these remaining only first stage will be different. Okay, only initial stages will be different in each type of blow molding process. Initial stage will be different. The remaining stages, okay, remaining stages means that blowing operation with the help of compressed air and removing that mold cavities and taking your part final product and performing some trimming or finishing operations, it will remain same. Okay, for all three processes. Okay, here also same will process will be there, just initial operations will be different. Okay, I will explain it one by one. Okay, now we will move to the extrusion blow molding process. Now in this extrusion blow molding process, the first stage will be manufacturing of or preparation of that preform from the thermoplastic material. Means it will be little bit hotter. Okay, it is having some higher temperature that will be termed as hot preform or a parison. It is prepared generally. We are using here only thermoplastic materials. Okay, you have to remember that this blow molding operation we are performing on the thermoplastic materials only. Okay, thermoplastic materials. As we are provide, it is we are providing some heat, and after that we are giving it shape. Okay, means it will be very simple to write in the applications. You can write that for thermoplastic material, different thermoplastic materials you can take into consideration. Okay, like polypropylene you can take, then PET material. Okay, I will explain it in the applications. Now, here the steps. Generally, these steps will be there in the extrusion blow molding. And the first stage, from diagram itself, you can write it. The first stage is making of the parison. Now here, simply that parison will be manufactured by performing one extrusion molding process operation, or simply one extrusion operation will be there. And through that extrusion operation, okay, on the thermoplastic material, we are providing the heat so that it will get transformed in the for means in the semi-solid state or in the form of a paste. And after that we are we are performing one extrusion operation, so it will come out with the from a die. Okay, one die will be there, and at the end of the die we will end up with the. Okay, this will be extruder used. Then we are heating the thermoplastic material. Then after converting it into the paste, it will be extruded with the help of one extruder from the die cavity provided. That die cavity will be having desired shape, means tubular shape, and we will get the one tubular form component, that is nothing but our parison. uh, Parison or hot hollow preform. Okay, then this is the first operation. By performing extrusion we are manufacturing that parison, and that parison will be placed in the, okay, mold cavity. There we are placing that parison. This mold cavity will be having two parts, and the shape of the final product is provided here in this mold cavity. Then this mold cavity is closed. Placing and closing of this mold cavity, this will be the second stage. Then with the help of the one pin that will be termed as the air pin, we are going to perform pass the compressed air, and that compressed air will perform the inflating of the tube. Okay, inflating of the tube will be performed, or blowing operation will be performed here with the help of this compressed air. And due to this blowing, what will happen, that parison or hot hollow preform, that material will be pressed against the mold cavity walls of that mold cavity, and it will acquire the desired shape and size. Okay, and after the cooling, we have to remove that mold cavity parts, and we will end up with our final product. Okay, this is our final product, and if necessary, we have to perform some finishing or trimming operation. So these are the steps in the extrusion blow molding process. This is the extrusion blow molding process. I will wait for few minutes here. Please draw the diagram. At least one diagram you have to draw. Remaining stages will be same. Draw this diagram. I will wait for few minutes here. It is while drawing the diagram, you have to try to remember it. These three stages will be same. Okay, just initial stages will be different. One initial stage or one or few steps will be different. Last three stages, that is placing that parison in the mold cavity, then blowing the compressed air, removing the mold cavity and your final product by performing some trimming and machining operations. These process will remain same in all types of this blow molding process. Only initial stage will be different. Making of that parison will be different. In the injection blow molding, we are making that parison with the by performing injection molding process. Then in extrusion blow molding, that parison is manufactured with the help of extrusion operation or extrusion molding process. Okay, with the help of an extruder and a die opening or die. Okay, then we will move towards the third type. Okay, this is the third type. Now, please draw the diagram. Here, just a little bit changes are there in this last type. Okay, last stages will be same. Okay, placing in the mold cavity, then blowing, then removing the mold or opening of that mold, and the final obtaining final product by some finishing operations. It will be same. Initial part will be different here. Okay, please draw this diagram. I will explain it. Okay, now we will move towards this stretch blow molding process. Now here, the little bit difference in the means whichever stretching, when stretching operation is performed on that preform on that parison by using some mechanical arrangement. Okay, then how it will be done, we will see one by one more as per the stages. In the first stage, okay, we are taking that preform. Okay, initially we are taking that preform or parison and we are doing the heating. Okay, here preheating is performed. And after doing this preheating, okay, now here we are taking the parison, and that parison it can be manufactured with the help of injection molding process or extrusion molding process. Okay, you can use any method here, and just the stretching operation is done in remaining two processes. What we are doing, just we are making that preform and we are blowing the compressed air in it. Now before blowing the compressed air, here we are performing some stretching operations with the help of some mechanical arrangement. That's why it is termed as stretch blow molding process. Okay, initially we are making one preform or parison, and preheating is done on that preform or parison. Then that preform or parison is placed in the mold cavity. Okay, it is placed in the mold cavity. Now with the help of one stretcher, okay, with the help of one stretcher or with the help of one mechanical arrangement or one mechanism, okay, initially what we are doing, we are just increasing the length of the parison. Okay, we are increasing the length of the parison. Okay, here you can see initially we are using increasing the length, and after that with the help of a small amount of, by blowing small amount of compressed air, just we are increasing its diameter. Okay, in small amount initially we are increasing the diameter. Okay, this is termed as stretch blowing. Stretch blowing molding process. Why it is termed as stretch blowing or a stretch blow molding process? Initially we are taking that parison in the preheated form, and after that initially we are stretching it lengthwise, and after that we are stretching it with the small compressed air, small amount of compressed air. We are stretching its diameter, and after that we are performing the final blowing operation. Okay, blowing operation will be considered here in two stages. The first one will be termed as pre-blowing, and the last one will be termed as final blowing. Okay, in the initially we are doing the stretching, lengthwise stretching will be performed. That will be your first stage. In the second stage, its diameter will be stretched by blowing the compressed air in small amount. That will be termed as pre-blowing. Okay, here the stretching and pre-blowing is shown in the same diagram. Stretching is done by in the lengthwise or longitudinal way. Okay, its length will be increased, and after that the pre-blowing will be done with the help of small amount of compressed air, and in the next stage final blowing will be done. Okay, large amount of the compressed air will allow to flow in it, and what will happen, that preform material will get pressed against the mold cavity or walls of the mold cavity. And then after sufficient blowing or inflating it, we are removing the mold cavity here. Okay, this mold cavity is available in some parts that will be removed, and if any kind of extra material is attached to that final product, it may be termed as a flash, and that will be removed by performing trimming operation. Okay, and at the end you will end up with your final product. This is the stretch blow molding process. Okay, I will repeat it again in short way. The preform is taken and it is heated. Then that heated preform is placed in the mold cavity. Okay, then that mold cavity is closed. Then the stretching and pre-blowing operation is performed. Stretching is done by using some mechanical arrangement in longitudinal way, and its diameter is also increased by one pre-blowing operation. Pre-blowing means we are allowing compressed air in small amount or small quantity. Its diameter will get increased. That is termed as pre-blowing. And in the next stage, final blowing operation will be performed. Here large amount of compressed air will allow to enter in that preform, so that it will, that compressed air will press that preform material against the mold cavity, walls of mold cavity. And in the next stage, that the mold will be opened, and final product is obtained by performing some trimming or some finishing operations. Okay, this is your final operation. So this is the stretch blow molding process. Okay, here we are performing some stretching, and stretching will be performed by using some mechanical arrangements. Instead of using the compressed layer, some mechanical arrangements will be used. Okay, and after that pre-blowing will be done, or you can say that blowing will be performed in two stages: pre-blowing and final blowing. Okay, in this way, and in the remaining stages just the blow molding process is followed and final component is obtained. Okay, so this is the stage blow molding process. Okay, in this way we have discussed these three types of the blow molding process: injection blow molding process, extrusion blow molding process, and stretch blow molding process. Okay, so after understanding this all three types, now we will move towards some. Okay, now initially I will explain some advantages and disadvantages of this process, and after that we will move towards the last point, that is the applications of blow molding process. So here I have highlighted in this one slide what are the advantages of this blow molding process. Okay, some advantages and some disadvantages are also there. Now in the advantages, here whichever tooling cost is there, okay, whichever tooling cost or setup cost is there is very less as compared to the other processes. Its tooling and setup cost is very less. Then the production rate is fast. Okay, you can manufacturing of components can be done in faster rate. Then you can manufacture the components with different shapes and sizes, means it is providing the flexibility for design. Then the scrap generated will be in lesser amount. And another the advantage of this process is whichever wastage material is there, as we are using the thermoplastic material, we can do the recycling, means you can give the shape again and again. Okay, remolding can be performed or reshaping can be performed as we are using this process for thermoplastic materials. You can do the recycling of scrap is little, and the whichever scrap is there, that also can be recycled. And whichever component actual product is there, after certain use you can do the recycling of that component also. For example, you can say that whichever water bottles are there or cold plastic cold drink bottles are there, okay, that can be collected and it can be recycled. From that you can manufacture other components also. Okay, we can perform the molding operation again and again. Okay, as thermoplastic material is there, molding can be performed again and again. Okay, recycling, you can, the plastic bottles are recycled. Okay, you are aware of these things. Okay, then the hollow parts, large sized hollow parts can be manufactured. Now this manufacturing of the hollow parts, you can consider it as advantage and disadvantage also. Okay, for the advantage will be manufacturing of the large hollow parts. And what is the disadvantages, advantage in this? Only you can manufacture hollow parts by this blow molding process. You will not be able to manufacture the solid part or solid component with the help of this blow molding. Okay, this is the disadvantage. Only hollow parts can be manufactured. As we are using the blowing operation, we are blowing the air, only hollow parts can be manufactured. Then some kind of defects may be there. Okay, some kinds of defects like I have already told you that flash extra material may be there. Okay, the extra material may remain there, that will be termed as flash. Then for removing that you have to perform some finishing operations. Okay, or some other kinds of defects may be there. Okay, then yes, the last disadvantage is you cannot manufacture the components having higher thickness. Okay, or large thickness components cannot be manufactured. So these are the disadvantages. What are the disadvantages? Only hollow components are manufactured. Some kinds of defect like flash may be there, and large thick large sized, or you can say that the components having large thickness cannot be manufactured here. Okay, so these are certain advantages and disadvantages of blow molding process. Now we will move towards the application part. Okay, sorry. So now before going for actual applications, now I will explain the few material name of the materials which we are using here. Generally you have to consider that here we are using this blow molding operation only on thermoplastic materials. Means you can write add a point here that thermoplastic materials, and if you are able to remember any name like PVC. Okay, this is PVC, PET. PVC means polyvinyl chloride, then PET, polyethylene terephthalate. Okay, and then PP, that is polypropylene, then LDP and HDP, high density polyethylene and low density polyethylene. Okay, now this high density polyethylene, it is used for manufacturing of some toys, then cases, different kinds of the drums. Then low density polyethylene material, that is used in the manufacturing of some flexible bottles. Okay, then polypropylene, then the high temperature bottles, that bottles can sustain at high temperature also. Then PVC, polyvinyl chloride. Okay, and the PET, polyethylene terephthalate, whichever. Now I will explain this PET. I have collected some extra images. Okay, in short, these HDP, LDP materials, and polypropylene, PVC, polyvinyl chloride, and PET, polyethylene terephthalate. Okay, these materials are used in this blow molding process. Now applications I have highlighted here by collecting some images. Okay, so these are applications of blow molding process. By using this blow molding process, different storage tanks. Okay, here I am moving the cursor, different storage tanks storing the water. Okay, for storing of the water, these different storage tanks can be used. Then plastic bottles. Okay, now these plastic bottles may be used for storing the water. Then it may be used for storing that your cold drinks, soft drinks, okay, or your soda bottles. All these are manufactured with the help of this blow molding. Then whichever jars, that plastic jars you are using, okay, these jars are manufactured with the help of blow molding. Okay, whichever hollow components are there, you can write that here, the different kinds of jars. Okay, this is the jar. Then these are the tanks used for storing the chemicals. Okay, different kinds of chemicals can be stored. Chemicals or different kinds of the fuels, like petrol, diesel, can be carried in these tanks. Then different kinds of toys. Okay, these are different kinds of the toys, and it will be hollow in nature. Okay, this will be hollow. Then these are the tubes or some bottles used for storing the cosmetics. Okay, cosmetics, whichever that creams and all these things are there. Okay, that will be termed as the your face wash, and some beauty creams are there for storing that. Some bottle is needed, that cosmetic bottles will be manufactured with the help of this blow molding process only. Now what I will do, as according to the types, I will separate it, whichever applications I have shown in this slide, according to the process. As we have learned the three types of blow molding process, for each type I have separated the applications. Okay, now for stretch blow molding process, pharmacy PET bottles. Okay, this is a very important application of this PET material. Okay, PET means polyethylene terephthalate. Okay, this is polyethylene terephthalate. Now whichever pharmacy bottles are there for storing your medicines or some capsules. Okay, medicines, we are storing here medicines, that all pharmacy bottles are manufactured by using PET material, and all that are manufactured by performing stretch blow molding operation or process. Then whichever storage tanks are there, storage tanks, then capsule bottles are there, in which we are storing the capsules, and different storage tanks. Okay, then whichever the cleaning liquids, we are storing that cleaning liquids here. Okay, that all these the storage tanks, then capsule bottles, all these will be manufactured with the help of extrusion blow molding process. Okay, now the last is the injection blow molding process. Okay, whichever toys, then cosmetic that cosmetic bottles are there, then the different kinds of jars, different kinds of toys. Okay, different kinds of toys, then again different kinds of this storage, small storage tanks, all these will be manufactured with the help of injection blow molding process. Now while writing the applications, there will be little difference while using the types. Now whenever you want to manufacture a component or a part having weight less than 350 grams. Okay, if the here you can see that these tanks can be manufactured with the help of injection blow molding process, as well as you can manufacture these tanks or bottles with the help of extrusion blow molding process. When the weight of this component is more than 350 gram, we are using extrusion blow molding process. Okay, when weight of this manufactured, suppose this is the tank, if weight is more than 350 gram, then we are going to use the extrusion blow molding process. And if weight is less than 350 gram, then we are going to use the injection blow molding process. Okay, and these all cosmetic bottles will be manufactured with the help of injection blow molding process only. Okay, so these are the applications type wise, that is applications of stretch blow molding, then extrusion blow molding process, and applications of the injection blow molding process. Okay, in this way we have I will summarize this today's session. Okay, what we have learned initially, we have started with the blow molding process, concept of blow molding process, components involved in this blow molding operation or process, different components, then how this actual process is conducted, steps involved in the blow molding process, making of parison, then placing, making of parison, or making the parison ready with or you can say that hot hollow preform is there, then placing it in the mold cavity and closing that cavity, then inflating the parison with the help of compressed air, that is nothing but your blowing operation, then removing the mold cavity and performing some finishing operations to get the final product. And after this, we have discussed the classic brief classification of blow molding process. For example, extrusion blow molding, injection blow molding, stretch blow molding, and these each process will further classified depending on the machines used for making the parison and doing the blowing operation at single stage, two stage, or continuous and intermittent process. Okay, and after that, we have seen the stages involved in manufacturing of a component by using injection blow molding process, extrusion blow molding process, and stretch blow molding process. And we have seen the advantages, disadvantages of this process, and these are the applications. Okay, some materials which generally we are using: polyvinyl chloride, then polyethylene terephthalate, polypropylene, high density polyethylene is termed as HDPE, and low density polyethylene. Okay, so these are the applications like storage tanks, plastic bottles, then water storage tanks or jars, and small jars, chemical storage tanks, toys, cosmetic bottles. And by type wise, we have seen some applications for stretch blow molding process, pharmacy PET bottles. And then by extrusion blow molding process, we can manufacture different storage tanks and capsule bottles. The storage tanks generally for by using extrusion blow molding process, where manufacturing the components, generally it is preferred when it is weight is more than 350 gram, and if weight is less than 350 gram, that same components can be manufactured with the help of injection blow molding process. Okay, these are some applications of injection blow molding process like cosmetic packaging, jars, different kinds of toys, then some you can say that storage tanks or bottles can be manufactured. Okay, in this way, we have completed this blow molding process along with its concept and types, advantages, disadvantages, and applications. If you are having any doubt, you can ask me question here. Okay, you can unmute yourself and ask questions. Uh, if those anybody is remaining to put your attendance, you can insert it in the chat box. Okay, please enter your attendance, and I will close this session. You can leave the session now. Thank you for attending this session. I will stop here. Thank you very much.